Hey kids. It's been recently. I have not been well. Been a bit under the weather. Bit ill. Lately my existence has been remarkably uncomfortable. So, I went to the gynecologist last week and they suggested as a form of birth control the Paragard. And what the Paragard is an IUD, interuteral device, uterine, one of those. They stick it up in you and it prevents you from getting pregnant. Very simple. There's several different types of IUDs. The last one that I had was the Skyla. It releases progesterone and it's a bit smaller. It only lasts for 3 years. The one before that I had the Mirena. It's a bit bigger, lasts for 5 years, releases estrogen. The Paragard is a non-hormonal IUD, and I think it's the first IUD. It's made out of copper. And what it does is just obstruct the uterus. It just prevents pregnancy, not hormonally like most birth controls do, but through sheer obstruction. So it's pretty big. It lasts for 10 years, and so far it's been pretty fucking uncomfortable. The usual route of birth control is to manipulate your hormone levels to prevent you from being pregnant. And IUDs that are hormonal, any birth control that has estrogen, progesterone, those are going to increase my instances of migraine, but also increases my risk of having a stroke. And I would prefer not to have a fucking stroke. They seem rather uncomfortable. So, yeah, my options are limited. So last Monday, I went to the doctor. The night before, I had taken some pills to soften my cervix. They didn't fucking work. They didn't work. It ended up keeping me up all night because the shit just hurts. And then the next day, when I go to get the IUD put in, my cervix isn't softened enough, and so that shit just hurts. And after having the IUD in for about a week, the shit just hurts. I have pretty acute abdominal pain on one side. It's not the same as a cramp, but I understand it to be a cramp. It's not what I'm used to. Absolutely not what I'm used to. I have a friend who wants to be an OBGYN, and so I asked them, should I be worried? Because I have like pain just on one side and it's pretty sharp. It's not like just like a regular cramp. And the bleeding that was going on, I was, low-key hoping that like my uterus wasn't perforated, but maybe in the case that it is, they'll take the shit out. That would be grand, because that's really what I want. Or to get my tubes tied. Either one. It's just my uterus has been an overwhelming source of discomfort for me since I was 9 years old. I'm used to my periods being pretty bad, like 10 days long, losing upwards of 100 milliliters of blood. I'm used to that. But also, every time, without fail, I will high-key just be ready to fucking kill myself right before I have a period. I don't know what it has to do with like my hormone levels, but like I am suicidal literally every time I have a period. And it fucking sucks. And it's not as bad. It doesn't last as many days as it used to. And I think that's mostly because of the connection between estrogen and fat cells. You never really lose fat cells unless you get like lipo or something, but they get smaller. And so the smaller they are, the less estrogen they prompt to be produced. So yeah, I think that's part of the reason. And physically, in the past, I have been told by gynecologists to stop exercising because I lose so much blood. My heart rate goes upwards of 200 during just regular ass exercise, not even anything, super vigorous. And this time around, after getting the IUD put in, the gynecologist, I don't know, I guess she didn't find it necessary to tell me until she was wrist deep in my vagina that Paragard makes your periods worse. And it certainly does. It certainly fucking does. I wish she had told me before, because maybe I would have tried, a more conventional birth control for a few months rather than putting in a 10-year IUD. But right now, I am on my 16th day of my period. 16 fucking days. That is literally half a month that I've been bleeding. It's unbelievable. It started on the 22nd and today is the 7th. So, yeah. Very uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. It's funny because reproductive autonomy, freedom to your reproductive system, is a fucking joke. You only have it if you want to have kids, if you want to procreate. It definitely doesn't include anyone who wants to get rid of their uterus, or anyone that hasn't procreated and doesn't wish to. Doesn't take those people into consideration at fucking all. Apparently, me being nearly 30 years old, I don't know myself enough to know whether or not I want to have kids. And really, it's not even an option to get my tubes tied. I'm not old enough. It's so goddamn annoying. It's just so frustrating. Because these are issues that I could avoid if I was allowed autonomy over my own body. So goddamn annoying.